Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, directed by Gore Verbinski, and is the very first installment of the movie franchise based on the hugely successful ride at Disneyland. Yes, guys, I shall be reviewing the first 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies for the 5th film, Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Salvar's Revenge as it's known in the UK. I'd love to see the reaction on whoever came up with the idea to turn Pirates of the Caribbean into a movie's face when they saw how popular it would become and how it would make them a shit ton of cash 14 years later. So Curse of the Black Pearl tells the story of pirate Captain Jack Sparrow finds himself in Port Royal after he was marooned by his crew on the ship the Black Pearl. Along the way he meets up with Elizabeth and Will Turner in Port Royal, and when Elizabeth is captured by the Black Pearl crew, he and Will must team up together and form a crew to set out to rescue her, as she is mistaken by the ship's captain, Barbossa, to be a Turner, and is carrying a medallion, a piece of Aztec gold, and only her blood can free them from a curse. So yeah, a very simple story. But I couldn't be happier. I have always considered Curse of the Black Pearl to be the best in the Pirates franchise by far. It easily takes the cake as my favourite. Blockbuster-wise, it's a perfect movie for my taste. It's not unnecessarily trying to be an epic. It's not too convoluted or bloated. It's just a simple, fun and rollicking, swashbuckling adventure, and that's exactly what we want. If only more blockbusters like this could exist nowadays. This movie knows that, and it totally has fun with it. Yeah, this movie just made me laugh, cry, and cheer Eureka multiple times, and you have to give all of the cast the credit they deserve, and you especially got to praise Gore Verbinski's direction. Gore Verbinski, he's a filmmaker who I have a love and hate relationship with, but this is his best work. This is the movie where he put most of his effort into, and it's the only one I can sit through that doesn't bore me to tears or put me to sleep. Thank God, it's the right length, and of course you cannot talk about Pirates of the Caribbean without talking about the man himself, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is absolutely wonderful as Captain Jack Sparrow. He is always the best performance in these movies. He well and truly deserved an Oscar nomination for this performance. This is still his first and best performance in the series. Just he was destined and made for this role. It set him apart from all his other roles. It proves that he's an actor that can tackle any kind of role, whatever you give him. You know, Captain Jack Sparrow here, he's just a fantastic protagonist. He's quirky, fun, as well as intelligent. You just want to be him. Depp isn't the only one of the cast who impresses, though. Of course, Barbossa is a great villain. Yeah, Jeffrey Rush is consistently amazing, and while the only cast members to appear in all 5 movies, yeah, and Barbossa is my favourite villain of the series. I mean, he's the captain of a crew who are cursed to transform into freaking skeletons under the moonlight, for crying out loud. Need I say more? And I love his voice too. It's so intimidating. You better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. you're in one. When it comes to the supporting characters, they're pretty good. Elizabeth's father is really charming, and Norrington, who starts out as a Commodore and is of course proposed to Elizabeth, goes on a very interesting character arc in the sequels. A lot of the comic relief also comes from the Black Pearl crew, who are so enjoyable and all have distinct characteristics, like the tall guy whose eye keeps falling out, the short guy. They are actually funny. And one character I almost forgot to mention was the beloved Mr. Kibbs, who they pick up in Troll's Law, this island for basically just drunken pirates. And yeah, Kibbs is one of the most lovable characters in this series. Yeah, and I'm so happy that he was one of the few cast members that stays for all 4 films so far. The movie has plenty of just some of the best comedy you could possibly find in a movie. I was in absolute stitches laughing at this film. I mean, since it's the lightest in tone of the Pirates films, that means it can have so much fun with itself. That really ups the comedy, unlike in the sequels, which were too dark for me. But my favourite one-liner is the movie's most famous quote.
But why is the rum gone?
The story is the best in the franchise, in my opinion. It's just not trying to be an overstuffed epic. It's the easiest to follow, which makes it really rewatchable for me. This is why I've always come back to this one the most. The second and third were far too complicated for my liking, but this is just a straightforward, simple action adventure, and that's what the Pirates franchise should be. And the movie's not too long either. It's easily the perfect pace, being only just over 2 hours. This definitely goes the quickest of the 4 so far, and of course you can't have a great Pirates movie without great action, which this movie is filled with amazing swashbuckling action. The awesome introduction of Jack when he comes into Port Royal on the sinking ship, and of course he's has to escape the clutches of Elizabeth's father, as he's a pirate, and all pirates who come to Troll's Law are hung, and he's like, "This will be the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow," and the brief but excellent sword fight between Jack and Will, and the epic Black Pearl attack on Port Royal, the sea battle between the Pearl and Jack's crew, the of course the terrific final battle between the Royal Navy and the Black Pearl crew, as well as the epic duel between Jack and Barbossa in the third act. It's my favourite finale of the series. Who wouldn't just want to see a bunch of skeletons battle the Royal Navy in a Pirates movie? What better way to conclude it? And you actually feel the sense of urgency due to the Black Pearl crew being cursed and immortal, so the Royal Navy really have a hard time beating them, as well as it's a race against time for Jack and to beat Barbossa, and for the curse to be lifted. And it's even a great funny moment when we learn that Jack is cursed as well to turn to a skeleton under the moonlight, when he's like, "That's interesting." These movies have always had top-notch effects and production design. It looks fantastic. Though this movie is one of the only ones in the franchise not to be composed by Hans Zimmer. Instead, Claes Badlet composed the soundtrack for this movie, and just like the Hans Zimmer soundtracks, I absolutely love it. And of course this movie started and gave us the iconic Pirates theme, one of my favourite themes in movie history. Dun 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 dun. You instantly recognise that as a Pirates movie when you hear that theme. And the ending just wraps the film up so nicely when Jack is about to be brought back to Port Royal to be executed. Luckily, Will and Elizabeth save him at the last second, and explain to Elizabeth's father that Jack may be a pirate, but he's a good man, and that thus starts the beginning of their friendship throughout the trilogy. So you all must be asking yourselves, so Harry, for all you love about this movie, is there anything you're not so keen on? Well, the only negative I have with this movie is that the characters of Will and Elizabeth. Despite Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom's best efforts, their characters just come across as paper thin. They are just the least interesting part of the original Pirates trilogy for me. At least Jack has a decent relationship with both of them, and at least they're there to, of course, prove to everybody in Port Royal that not all pirates are bad, but why is the movie so focused on them? Why were they in the opening? I mean, we just want Jack. But that would be my only criticism with this movie, I'm pleased to say. The rest of it, what's not to love? And it's amazing how none of the sequels, 14 years later, have ever been as good as this first film. I give The Curse of the Black Pearl 4.5 stars out of 5. Dead Men Tell No Tales has a hard act to follow, and also, guys, I would also give a shout out to my pals Mr. TARDIS 11 and Jack McCullough because they have been reviewing these movies too recently. So if you have the time, you might want to check their reviews out too. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, man. What do you think of Curse of the Black Pearl? Please comment, let me know. Please like this video and subscribe, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and I'll see you all next time when I review its sequel, Dead Man's Chest. I'll see you then, my eyes.